beasts, aren't they? Chuffed to bits. The smallest little thornback. I'm just concentrating on not losing the rod over the side. And its eyes. It's got amazing eyes. Doggy in the boat. Golden mullet. There's a bit of weight to that, you know. And that's what we want, don't we? We don't want the same all the time. We want something different, a good old show. Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm in the workshop, beavering away, making rigs and getting ready for the autumn. It's hard to believe, summer's almost gone. The autumn shore fishing season. And my friend Dave showed me the other day a modification to a pulley rig. And I really thought it was worth showing. Look how short that is. That is a 16-inch pulley. 60-pound ASSO. I'm using 60-pound Ultraflex for the body and the snood. That's only a 2.0 Camasan hook, an imp, a Gemini swivel, and a Gemini, I think they're called power pulleys. Are they called power pulleys or pulleys? A couple of beads and a little bit of tubing. And the tubing that I'm using is silicone, 1mm silicone. Very simple, works the same as any other pulley rig. The benefit of which, once it's released and fishing like an old style paternoster, weights on the ground, on the seabed, and this is wafting around in the current. But this is the important piece. Consider this the main line to the rod, and this is your hook snood. So it's fishing like a paternoster, for want of better words, but you've got the benefits of a pulley. So the fish can take a variable amount of slack. Now, depending on your hookups, and this is where the adjustment's really important, you can give them a little, or you can set it and you can give them a lot. About an inch is about right for the majority of species that are going to take hard. So they can take that much. But when they're hooked, and if this is a grip weight, the fish is on the bottom, the weight's lifted up, no set, but it helps to maintain tension as well on the fish. So this is being reeled back, and maybe you're in the surf and things are bouncing around, but the fish is constantly in tension. Plus the benefit of lifting the weight, plus that initial grab take as you set that distance. So it's adjustable, but it's really useful. Really useful. And I'm thinking bass, definitely. Bass close in, near the surf, using a rolling lead to sweep out into the gullies, let the tide take the line and move the bait around, putting parts and movement on it. Brilliant. Give him enough to hook himself, and then weight of the fish, but in constant tension. Less chance of losing the fish. What else are we thinking? Pin weighting. Pin weighting in shoals, competing with each other. Sometimes they'll manage to strip your bait and won't get hooked up. Just that little bit of give, and then a semi-hard stop will help with the hookup. Also the shortness of the snood. The shortness of the rig. Fewer tangles. It's brilliant. I love it. Dave's a bit of a genius, I think. Imps. The standard way of hooking up with an imp, where it is completely open, where you put your hook into the imp. Just put this upside down. You just lay your hook into the imp. That's one way. Another way, not detrimental in any way that I can see, is to feed the imp through to the other side and back hook the imp. The hook is more captive and supports off the ground casting, whereas you might use the imp in its front feature, or its front aspect. It's not a feature, it's just what it is. Like that, when you lay it down, sometimes it's coming unhooked, or it's not captive. If you lay the imp through to the other side and hook up, yeah, there's still the chance that it might swivel out because it is loose, But look, it's a lot less, he says, as it pops straight out, and that's it. It's not fault free. And it is more captive, but it still works in exactly the same way. So we'll get on and make one, eh? And there it is. As always, sorry to turn my back to you. I've got all the components on the bench. My favourite Solingen nail clippers. The beauty of these is they've got the hole in the end, and I'll show you why. If you haven't got a hole in the end of your nail clippers, they usually have. I think so you can put a key ring on or something. It's worth considering ones that have. So I'm using this Asso Ultraflex, £60. I don't think I'll be using anything more, just measuring out, 36 inches. I don't think I'll be using anything more than a 5-ounce weight. So I've measured out 36 inches, end to end, and a nice snip straight in the middle. So I've got two pieces that are roughly 17-18 inches. And what we're going to build first is the end with the imp. So we're going to go from the weight up. And these come in component form. And I've always got to double check to make sure I get these on round the right way. Fiddly little suckers. If you can hear the birds in the background, they go on the roof. We had a sparrow hawk doing a bit of hunting in the garden yesterday. Absolutely smashed the poor little sparrow on the bird table. So I haven't got a little gadgety tool or anything. I've just got to try and clip this imp together. It's the only downside of these really, but I suppose it's not that much hassle really. Possibly is a bit of hassle with my little sausage fingers. Okay, so all I'm going to do is tie an imp on. I'm going to use that standard knot like what the Sandman and Sandman Tackle Time uses. 2, 3, which is 3 turns back through the loop, and then 3 turns back through on itself. Bit of lubrication, and I'm looking for a gadget. I can't find one. I've just clipped on a Thermalink to give me something to hold on to, just to set the weight, set the knot, and unclip again. Remove the tag end. Tag end's removed, and then if we look back on this, we've got some components to put on now. So the first one is the silicone tubing. And this is just a slide and stop knot. So I'm going to go with about 5-6 mil. Tiny, tiny little piece. So you feed it through, loop round, and then feed it through again. You can hear the birdies on the bird table. Sometimes a little bit of lubrication just helps things move along, as is in life. And that's what we got. So I haven't tightened that all the way down yet. It's just gone through itself, and you can sort of snug that down and move it down out of the way. It's a slide and stop knot. Then we need some little tiny weeny 4mm beads. Any regular followers of the channel will know my big sausage fingers don't work well with small beads. So we're going to put one of these beads on. I'm sure they're getting smaller. And the power pulley. And another bead. And I'll show you everything put together in a sec. Okay, so that's the components we've got on at the moment. So we've got an imp. Let's have a look, get that in focus. an imp, a sliding stop knot in the way of a piece of silicone tubing, a 4mm bead, a power pulley swivel Gemini, and another bead. And we need to captive the end to make sure we don't lose all our bits and pieces, all our gubbins. And what I do like, and I really do like these, because they are tiny, is the Gemini £140 stainless steel swivels, size 4. Look at the size of those. They're weeny. Tiny, strong, corrosion resistant. Just a winner. Winner for sea fishing all round. 1, 2, 3. Tie these on. 1, 2, 3. Just because I've got it to hand, just going to use a Thermalink. I'll just clip a Thermalink in. It just gives you something to hold. Lubricate your knot, set your knot, check that it's all good, unclip, and remove the tag end. And that is the rig body. Stainless steel swivel, bead, pulley, bead, sliding stop knot, which we can slide further up now. Slide it up to within about an inch, inch and a half, and an imp. Just dress the line a little bit, and that all came out at exactly 16 inches. 16 inches for that. So we'll just move that out of the way. Always find it handy to hang these sort of things up. And I'm going to put a weight on it just for convenience, just to hold it steady. So that's that. Now all we've got to look at is a hook snood. Now I'm thinking generic species, you know, nothing specific. So for me, Solent General Fishing from the Shore, size 20540 Manta hooks, Sakuma Manta. It's a standard hook pattern, J hook pattern. It holds a bait, it'll hold a worm. The hook isn't too thick that it'll blow a worm apart. It'll hold squid, sand eel, and I'm just fishing one hook for this. It's just going to be one hook on this one. Simplicity. Beauty of this rig is it's not too many components, it's nice and small. So rather than having detachable hook lengths, just make up a few rigs. Make up 5 rigs, fish 2, have 3 on standby. Pre-bait whilst you're fishing with the rigs out that you're using on 2 rods. And just as and when you're ready, reel in, unclip, clip, cast out, carry on fishing. Nice, simple, tangle-free, uncomplicated fishing. Focusing on just one hook with a well-presented bait put into the target zone. So that's a hook snood. No detachable. You could put a detachable. You could put a Thermalink, a Genie clip. You could put any number of different things on there and have this as detachable. Because they're so small and compact, I'm just going to go with pre-made, pre-tied, good to go. And pretty much we're almost there. All we've got to do now is attach the hook snood. And I have offered it up onto the actual rig itself, get my starting point, add a little bit. I'm not particularly good at this piece actually. For the accuracy of consistent snood lengths, I still haven't mastered that. I bet there's other people out there going, yeah, I know. I tie one and it goes one place, I tie another, it's another, and I've done the same thing twice over. Yeah, I feel your pain. That is me sometimes. We'll soon find out when this one gets offered up. Oh, And we've struck gold. And there we have it. One very simple, modified, short pulley. I love this rig, I really do. In fact, let's use that because that is a good way of showing it. So if you consider this your main line from your rod, we've got everything clipped down and ready to go. Detach on casting. Fish is like a paternoster. Everyone knows that the paternoster was the king of all rigs until everyone got really complicated. You can always go back to simple. Should do a paternoster on the channel really. Or a no component rig, just hooks, weights and line. But yeah, there we have it. Clipped up, ready to go. Really compact. And what I absolutely love, and this was the piece really for me. It's almost like, not a bolt rig because that's not quite right, is it? But you give the fish enough that he can take and then almost self hook. But then when you've got the weight of the fish on it, there he is. Swimmy, swimmy, up out the way, constant tension. We love all that sort of stuff, don't we? Now we're going to look at one more thing very quickly. 2 people showed me this within a day. Dave showed me it one day when we were talking about this rig, and then Dean from Tommy's Tackle and Bait, we were talking about it the following day as well. And I really like it. It is beautifully simple and very useful, I think. So if you've ever had problems where, imagine you've been caught, you're fishing on the beach and you're getting snipped off. Something out there's got teeth and all you've got is mono. Or you want to flex, you want to fish the flexible aspects of mono. You just haven't got any wire or you haven't got any crimps. How do you stop yourself from getting snipped? Now where this really comes into its own, Chesil Beach, spider crabs. Spider crabs will claw at your bait and eventually snip through, and what you could do is you'll reel in, you come back and that's what you got. You got no hook. How do we get around that? Very quickly, I'm going to tie a hook. 2, 3. I've got a Blue Peter, one I've done earlier. Other children's channels are available. Left my tag a little bit short that time. It happens to us all, doesn't it? You know, you're looking at him, oh yeah, you're struggling because your tag was too short. Yeah, it was too short. Okay. So we've got a hook tied to some mono. How do we stop that from getting cut or snipped? And I love this. I do like it. I love simplicity. An SRT spring. An SRT spring that you usually use for tensioning rigs. Feed it onto the mono. Down to the knot. See that? Chomp, 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 wire. Chomp, 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 wire. It's brilliant, isn't it? Love it. An SRT spring. And what I actually do is I add a power gum stop knot just there. You could still slide this up out of the way, so if you've loaded it all up with bait and you think the chomping zone is further up here, you can add 2 SRT springs and extend the bite range. So you could have 2 SRT springs and a stop knot. How simple is that? How useful is that? If you've got that in your kit, you're fishing mono and you start coming back with hooks that have been snipped off. I love it. Okay, so how do we finish up? A very nice, very compact, that could literally, let's unclip it all from, no weight, no main line. the entire length of the rig. And as always, I like to go expanded fingers and then 3 turns. 1, 2, 3. And that's the rig. Love it. Put that in a poly bag, 4 or 5 of those made up. Put it in an A5 sleeve, and that's all you need to take. A few spare components. You can have everything inside a bag that big, plus your weights. Spare hooks, some swivels, some clips, odds and ends, jiggery jiggery, fishy fishy, and away we go. I hope that's been useful. I hope you like it. I hope you try it. Please, 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 if you want to help develop the channel, if you want to take part, make the rig, use the rig. Tell me what you've changed. Tell me your preference with hooks. If there's a better line out there, if you're finding that a certain swivel is outperforming another one, please share it in the comments. I love to hear from it. I respond to all the messages, and let us know what you've caught. Make the rig, catch something, send us a picture. Tell us what you got. From me, for now, from here, it's goodbye. Take care. I'll see you soon. Tight lines and happy fishing. Goodbye.